Welcome back to Burn to Notice, the series dedicated to analyzing Michael Weston and his crew. If you're new to the series, there's a link in the description down below to catch you up. This episode begins with Mike hot on the trail of the owner of the account number found in the previous episode by treating Barry to lunch in a pretty swanky place. And
well, at least I can get a good mojito here.
We're on a budget, Sam.
Yeah, but why can't Sam just pay for his own drinks? I mean, doesn't he have his own money? Anyway, Barry begins acting strange, and Mike picks up on this real quick, but not quick enough to escape Bly. That agent Mike blackmailed to leave him alone, and after some back and forth, Mike decides to back down and offer a truce by handing over all of the evidence that would cripple Bly's career. All because Barry is linked with Mike, and Bly can go after both of them. So for Bly, I guess it's
welcome to Miami.
When Fee hears the news, she suggests that Mike should just use the blackmail to go scorched earth on Bly. But Mike, being more level-headed, decides on a different tactic. When they return to the loft, turns out Bly is able to make Mike miserable by using bureaucratic red tape, or yellow biohazard tape. Bly convinced the government that his loft is unfit for human habitation. Mike attempts to go grab an outfit when, what luck, Bly already has a bag packed.
I have to say, for a tough guy, you sure dress like an Easter egg.
Now at Maddie's, with a cigarette in her hand, she scolds the fact that Mike shouldn't be living in the loft anymore for health reasons. But this whole part is just so that we can meet our client for this episode, Paula, who has a stalker, meaning Mike and Sam now have to scour apartments in order to find this guy, and so far, no luck. As they regroup to figure out a new tactic, Sam drops some info that he has a date with a wealthy socialite, and even though it doesn't sound important, it kind of is. She is
Millions is a beer distributor, the woman of my dreams.
You have many women in your dreams.
So I'm a romantic. But
as they're about to split up, Paula calls and says that the stalker is at her job, meaning Mike needs to get there as soon as possible. She works at a private bank, and Mike is slowly putting the pieces together. But this has to wait because, of course, Bly shows up to strong-arm Mike and asks for everything Mike has on him.
I want every piece of paper you own that mentions me. Files, phone records, the page in your diary where you drew little hearts around my name.
As they end the conversation, the stalker shows up.
He's not a stalker.
This is a robbery. Stay quiet, follow our orders, or people die.
And it turns out he is a professional, jamming the phone signals, taking the guards' uniforms, and having his men carry MAC-10s. He decides to bring everyone into the conference room, and in this scene, it's interesting that you see Mike basically making a plan of attack while being ushered into the conference room. In every scene that you see him, his eyes are darting to each and every spot that he's thinking, oh, I could do this here, or oh, I could do that there. And to me, it's one of the amazing, subtle ways to show how good of a spy he really is. But now he has to come up with a plan to get everybody out safely, including Bly. One of the guards grabs a cell phone and stomps on it, which will turn out to be their undoing. One of the managers locks himself in the office, but liquid nitrogen and an air hammer do quick work on the lock, explaining how they're going to rob the bank blind through the vault. This is when Bly pleads with Mike to attack to hopefully level the playing field, but Mike decides against it to save the hostages. And almost immediately after he tells Bly not to make a move, he makes a move, and this gets him shot, but not before Prescott goes over the rule. No attacking his men, no cops, and no escaping. Also, Prescott warns that if he sees cops, he's going to kill 3 people for every cop he sees, which is a pretty good deterrent. But Bly's injury opens the door for Mike to create a cover ID as a doctor to patch Bly up. He is initially met with resistance, but Mike convinces him why he should help. Meanwhile, Prescott grabs Paula and the bank manager to open the vault. Mike coaches a hostage on how to stop the bleeding as Mike gets get some information on the bank, mostly just where the room next to him goes to and where to find the internet hub, which helps him come up with a plan to escape. Then Mike leaves in order to go get supplies to fix Bly, and also uses some spy magic to try to take out the guards. In the conference room, they begin to cut a hole through the wall using scissors one of them had brought with them. Mike reviews the shoddy medical supplies.
We're gonna need to search desks and purses for some real pain meds.
No, you can do it with that.
With gauze? Right. Where'd you get your medical degree?
I love how arrogant Mike is considering he doesn't have a medical degree. This just shows how well he is at playing a cover ID so deeply. This convinces the guard to allow him to search the office. While the guard is distracted, Mike grabs the destroyed cell phone in order to call out, using the bank's mainframe to boost his signal. And who gets the first call? It's Sam, who is just so happened to be on a date with that dream woman, meaning he has to leave her to help Mike blow up a hole in a bank, leaving the poor rich socialite alone. At the bank, Mike begins to sabotage the team, first by tampering with the air hammer, then by putting pills into one of the guards' Red Bulls to incapacitate one of them. But when he returns, he gets hit on the head for being late. Also, good attention to detail. There's blood where Bly got shot, still on the wall and carpet. After regaining his composure, Mike helps Bly while talking to Paula about Prescott's plan. I'm glad they explained that Mike is good at medical procedures despite the fact
I don't believe that man's ever been to medical school.
but Mike patches Bly up. In the meantime, Fee and Sam argue about why Sam was the first call, and Fee knocks Sam down a couple of pages.
In case you're wondering, you'd be my 19th call. I'd call Madeline before I called you.
Then Prescott needs Mike to go to the vault. When Sam and Fee arrive, Fee gets upset that Sam doesn't know when to blow the wall, and Sam goes,
Look, it was a brief conversation. We didn't talk about shoes or movies either. Could you just place the explosives already?
which in a future episode, Fee gets distracted by a gun buy. So this is definitely checks out, especially since when Mike was trying to get his fake ID, she was distracted by shoe shopping. Anyway, in the vault, one of the guards got hurt by the tampered air hammer. And when I first saw this episode, I thought Mike was going to be using it for like a standoff. But as I grew up, I realized it's kind of a stupid idea for him. Anyway, Mike uses liquid nitrogen to cauterize the wound, but also sabotage Prescott's gun. Then trouble in the conference room because they got found out about the plan to cut through the wall.
Sir, watch the door.
Well, this guy's going to be hated for the rest of his life, which could be pretty short considering where they're at. After threatening the hostage, Bly steps forward to take the hit, and when Prescott attempts to kill Bly, his gun explodes, giving Mike the opening to barter for Bly's life. How considerate, considering Bly was about to ruin Mike's life forever. Anyway, Mike only agrees to help Prescott, providing Bly live. Luckily, he takes the deal. After this, Prescott brings everyone downstairs to lock the vault with them inside, and while they're moving the hostages to the vault, one of the guards lets slip their plan about a boat in front of Mike. This changes Mike's plan and uses Bly as a distraction to update Fee and Sam that the plans have changed, that now they have to look for a boat, which should be pretty easy in a port city like Miami, and now the charges Fee set are completely worthless. Also, Mike messes with the elevator. Now with Fee and Sam doing some recon, Fee comes up with another spur-of-the-moment plan, to which Sam...
Yeah, that's great. Let's get Mike and the hostages killed because you have the attention span of a 3-year-old.
I can't believe I'm just now saying this, but Bruce Campbell is a national treasure. The way he delivers his lines, it's just perfect. Mike continues to help Prescott's wound, even offering him pain meds, but he declines until Mike partakes, which would be a problem because Mike is lying, but he is able to purge them from his system. Also, he steals a wrench from a tool bag for when it's time to attack. Mike expertly uses Prescott's injury for an excuse to run upstairs again. Next, Sam is looking for the boat. He calls his girls to reschedule their date, but gets cut off when Fee finds the radio frequency of the boat. Also, a cop shows up to get coffee from a street vendor, which could prove fatal for the hostages, providing the cop asks questions questions about the delivery truck. Someone needs to find the boat, and the other one needs to distract the cop.
And here I forgot to shave my legs.
This is when Fee makes a scene enticing the cop. Luckily, the cop gets dispatched to another call before he could ask about the truck. Mike discusses with Bly they are close to the finish line and arms him with that wrench. Also, this is one of the only episodes that they really bring up that Maddie is a hypochondriac. Upstairs, one of the guards that was drinking the Sleepy Time cocktail of Red Bull and pharmaceuticals feels nauseous and asks Mike to help him out, and this is when Mike uses this to incapacitate him. Unfortunately, he shoots all of his ammo except for one stray bullet. Meanwhile, Sam is at the dock and finds a good lead to where the getaway boat is. This is when Mike overhears Prescott's plan to kill everyone by putting them into the vault. And nice character development on Bly. He learned from the last time that sometimes it's better to wait instead of going guns a-blazing. Mike continues to sneak around. Then he calls Sam looking for a couple of moves to play.
What about a little Operation Quicksilver?
Quicksilver? You mean like World War II? You're talking about a bunch of fake tanks and the whole Normandy invasion force.
Yeah, but instead of the Normandy invasion force, I have a Walther with one bullet. You gotta sell this, Sam. You gotta sell it like you've never sold it before.
That's the kind of pep talk I like, Mikey.
Then Sam gets a call from his girl, and they break up mutually.
You bastards, you ruined something special.
And as Sam incapacitates the boat driver, I can't get over the fact how good Sam is in this episode. Mike decides to confront Prescott after his condolences of one of his men who had a stroke. The radio cues up, it's the boat handler, and he's giving Prescott a warning about the guy who owns the bank, and how the owner would be after them, bolstered by a story Mike comes up with on the fly. And it is pretty good for being a fake story. Also, Bly finally gets to fight back. Then Prescott and one of the goons fight. But I mean, at least they have their truck.
There's nothing wrong with our truck. Let's just get out of here.
Which, I mean, is pretty much just cruel, but very funny irony. Prescott then kills his goons and leaves the bank, and would you look at that, the cop that Fee distracted just so happens to be leading the charge, which I guess makes sense because he probably was in the area still. After the smoke clears, Bly and Mike make up, and Bly even arranges to track down the account number. Paula was able to tell Maddie about the crazy day that just occurred. Also, this whole episode was all done in one day because Mike never changes his clothes, although I would have liked to see him in that Easter Bunny outfit. But as Mike is about to leave, Maddie's with the blackmail in hand. Maddie convinces him to stay for some food. The next day, Mike informs Barry he is safe and sets up a code word for when he's wired that never gets brought up again. When Mike meets up with Fee and Sam and resolves the reason for why Sam was his first call, because Fee didn't answer. Oh well, now he's the first call forever. Finally, Bly gets his blackmail and Mike gets the info on the man who tried to kill him. However, this is kind of a bittersweet victory because in the process of looking for the guy, they must have set off a tripwire of some sort. So now the guy knows that Mike is onto him. This was the first episode I ever saw, and I got hooked. The way Mike was constantly working his way on getting out, despite the fact that the situation was constantly evolving. And Mike did a good job of conveying that his mind was racing 100% of the time. And Prescott did an amazing job as a villain. Cold, calculating, but also able to think on his feet. Just Mike was able to think faster. Sam and his girl was kind of interesting, if not a little unnecessary to the point I don't even know what her name was. Fee seemed like an afterthought in this episode, only really getting utilized in the second half. I was glad to see Bly back. He knows how to get under Mike's skin, but was redeemed in the end. It's sad that this is the last episode we'll be seeing of him for a while. This is still one of my favorite episodes. Just how good Mike was able to flip the tables on Prescott while simultaneously gaining Bly's favor. Thank you for watching. If you were curious on how an FBI catches serial killers, check out Inside Criminal Minds. Link in the description. And as always, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.